we're trying to get the food in, and we let food trucks in, and guess what happens when we let them in? Hamas steals the food, takes the good chunk for itself.
That's not true. Days after Netanyahu said that, the New York Times published a story showing that there was no proof Hamas was routinely stealing aid from the UN. That pretext has been used by Israel for months to justify delaying or blockading aid from getting into Gaza. But the problem goes much deeper. Part of the problem is media outlets that repeated that claim, and that includes the New York Times. The Intercept reviewed 61 different articles published by the New York Times since January that talked about the problem with aid and hunger in Gaza, and 23 of them repeated Israel's claims that Hamas was stealing aid. 9 of those stories didn't even include an opposing viewpoint rebutting Israel's claims. It's just one-sided. 12 of them referred to these claims without even including a specific citation or accusation. And at the time of the Intercept's reporting, the New York Times had not issued a correction or an update to any of these stories. The issue here is that none of these articles included any evidence to support Israel's claims. And now, according to the Times' own reporting, it was always disinformation, and it's part of a larger problem with institutional media bias. In April 2024, The Intercept published a memo from the Times that instructed their own journalists to avoid using terms like genocide and ethnic cleansing. And they wanted their reporters to avoid the term occupied territory when referring to Palestinian land. And it went one step further. It even told them to avoid using the word Palestine and refugee camps. While it's good that the Times now reports that there was no evidence that Hamas was stealing aid, questions should have been asked much earlier. These claims should have never been repeated without evidence. And there's more to this story. Head to theintercept.com to check it out.